Watching the thunder raging from Sasuke, Guran was a little surprised. Lightning style. What is this lightning style ninjutsu? Why has it never been seen? Cover the whole body with lightning, and it can also be released to attack the surrounding ground. Such a situation is not something ordinary ninjas can do. You must know that just covering the body with lightning is not something that can be done easily. What's more, Sasuke also released lightning, which burned the surrounding ground into black traces. This also shows that Sasuke has reached a state of perfection in the control of thunder and lightning. At this age, she has studied lightning style to such an extent, Guran can be considered to have initially felt the horror of Sasuke. But if that's all, he doesn't deserve to be the perfect vessel for Orochimaru's population. Boy, do you think this can scare me? Just lightning style. Saying that, Guran raised her hand. Crystal style, crystal shuriken technique. Countless ice crystal shurikens condensed out of thin air, and then shot towards Sasuke rapidly. Like a Gatling machine gun, it fired at Sasuke crazily. Bai wanted to help. However, the next second Sasuke's lightning burst out instantly. Thousand birds flow, crackling, zzz. It was visible to the naked eye that the thunder and lightning instantly became more violent. Like a rising tide, thunder and lightning continuously surged around Sasuke's body and wreaked havoc. The roar of thunder and lightning was obviously more intense than before. The crystallized shuriken that came from the Leying were all shattered in the roar of thunder and lightning. As long as anyone comes into contact with Sasuke's lightning, it is impossible to be silent and directly crushed by the powerful lightning force. Sasuke stood there without even moving his hands. This kind of link seal is not needed, and the inexplicably powerful defensive ninjutsu is directly launched. It is still lightning-style defensive ninjutsu, blocking one's own attacks. The look of astonishment on Honglian's face was even more exciting. But she won't just give up. Gritting his teeth, he sealed again. I'd like to see what tricks you little brat has. Crystal style, crystal-breaking dragon technique. Crash. Suddenly crystallization appeared, instantly forming a red crystal dragon. Roaring and letting out a dragon roar, it slowly rose into the air from behind Honglian. Green knotted eyes stared at Sasuke. In the next second, he opened his huge mouth and hit Sasuke straight and fiercely from the air. The corners of Sasuke's mouth rose slightly. He raised his hand and pulled out the Kusanagi sword on his back, instantly launching Chidori. The lightning directly covered the blade of the grass pheasant sword. The grass pheasant sword wrapped in thunder and lightning made a faint sound like the chirping of a bird. It's been a while since using this pheasant sword, but it's now fed by Sasuke's lightning-style chakra. A lightning rune has faintly appeared on the knife body, but this rune has just appeared, spreading from the position of the handle to the position of the knife. Now it is less than 10 centimeters long, but even so, it means that the grass pheasant sword has begun to advance in the direction of strengthening the lightning-style attribute. Any lightning style used with the pheasant sword will be a little more powerful. Not to mention Chidori. Chidori blade. Strictly speaking, this is also a technique. It's just that this technique is just a change form of Chidori. It is just to gather the lightning that hit the palm of the hand onto the blade. Strictly speaking, it's Chidori. The difficulty is nothing more than gathering Chidori's lightning control on the blade. This kind of thing has no difficulty for Sasuke. In the original book, Sasuke just injects chakra of thunder attribute into grass pheasant sword, but today's Sasuke injects not only chakra of thunder attribute, but a Chidori in the true sense. There is still a difference between thunder attribute chakra and lightning style ninjutsu. It's like a bullet exploding directly, and the power of shooting it out with a pistol. The two also rely on gunpowder to generate explosive power to kill the enemy, but the power is completely different. The current Sasuke's Chidori blade is even more amazing in power. Congratulations to host, self-innovated ninjutsu. Lightning style, thousand bird blade, beginner. Ah. Even the system has recognized his technique. Sasuke smiled. The next second, the ice crystal dragon rushed in front of Sasuke. At this moment, Guran looked at the blade full of thunder in Sasuke's hand, and listened to the chirping of the blade like the chirping of birds in his ears. I was extremely shocked. This is how terrible lightning style can make the blade make this sound. Sudden. A lightning flashed. When the light of thunder flashed past, lightning instantly penetrated the entire ice crystal dragon. The broken ice crystals directly turned into countless fragments in the air, and then the fragments directly turned into powder and disappeared without a trace. All that is left is the powerful thunder and lightning that burst out from the grass pheasant sword in Sasuke's hand. One strike. He broke his crystal-breaking dragon-subduing dragon. This guy. So strong. Sasuke, who was holding the Chidori blade, finally raised his left hand at this time. Watching the movement of Sasuke's hands, Red Lotus froze again. One-handed mudra. The same goes for the ice escape ninja just now, and so does this brat. Is it so common for Chanzi to seal now? Before Honglian finished complaining. Next second. Crack. Crack. The roar of an instant explosion appeared. A thick thunder struck directly in front of him. Guran didn't have time to react at all. Immediately afterwards, a thunderbolt appeared from behind him on the left. The melodious birdsong sounded. The grass pheasant sword covered with terrifying lightning appeared from behind and rested lightly on her neck. The terrible thunder and lightning had burned her skin. Honglian silently swallowed saliva. The pupils dilated slowly, recalling the scene just now. That. What kind of technique? Just now. Sasuke smiled. Lightning style, Lei Shun. What a powerful technique. Although the lightning bolt just now was very obvious, the extremely fast speed is beyond the ability of normal people to react. Although the sound is loud, the speed is faster than the sound. I created it myself, and I think it's not bad. It's easy to deal with some weak ninjas. Homemade. Guran seems to understand now why Master Orochimaru said this kid is the perfect container. Sure enough, he was much better than himself. With such strength at this age, he is indeed a monster among monsters. I am not an opponent at all, and I can't even last around. Alright. Take us to the Three Tails. Orochimaru said before I came here that I'm in control of everything here. Help us catch the three. I can take you back to the base of Otoshi village, let you meet your Lord Orochimaru, and stay by his side forever. Hearing Sasuke's words, the loneliness in Guran's eyes quickly faded away. What appeared instead was the color of hope and joy. Really? Master Sasuke? So this becomes Master Sasuke? Sasuke is speechless. If I knew it was so simple, I would have said this a long time ago. Sasuke retracted the Kusanagi sword and released the Chidori blade, reinserting the knife into the scabbard at the back of his waist with his backhand. Sasuke turned his head and looked towards the island. Where is the tail beast? Guran heard Sasuke's question and quickly replied, Master Sasuke, please follow me. Said with a look of great respect for Sasuke. Looking at her like this, you must know that this guy had a look of disgust and hatred towards Sasuke 3 seconds ago. However, the time changed so quickly in a few seconds. Even Kimimaro shook his head. Stupid woman, even if she returned to Lord Orochimaru's side, Lord Orochimaru couldn't even look at her. Obviously this woman has long been given up. Are you looking forward to regaining Master Orochimaru's appreciation without even the curse seal? But even though he thought so in his heart, Kimimaro followed silently without saying anything. Shiro also came to the other side of Sasuke and looked at Guran with the eyes of the enemy. From Bai's point of view, Red Lotus is still very threatening. Guran is a woman after all. An inexplicable hostility arose between woman and woman. Guran also felt it, and soon understood why Shiro looked at her with such eyes. Does this little girl like Sasuke-sama? Hey! I'm not interested in a brat like Sasuke. Looking at me like this is treating me as a love rival? Since you are looking at me like this, little girl, I will make you feel even more uncomfortable. Thinking of Guran deliberately making some seductive moves. Sasuke-sama, trace. I will fully cooperate with you in the future. No matter what request you ask, I will satisfy you. You can tell me if you have any questions. I don't know why Sasuke, I don't know why this woman Guran suddenly seems to be a little hard to say. But Sasuke's mind is now on Three Tails, and Sasuke directly chooses to ignore the changes in Red Lotus. Bai is now on fire. This hateful bitch actually seduced Master Sasuke. Master Sasuke is not that kind of person. Sasuke, Shiro, Kimimaro, and Guran headed towards the island, ready to search for Three Tails. At the same time, a big event is happening in the ninja world. Fire Nation, Konoha village. The night is getting darker. At this moment, The atmosphere of Konoha village has become very strange, and no pedestrians can be seen on the street. Despite the bright lights, most shops close early. Even ordinary people have noticed that something is wrong with Konoha recently. This time it's not that there are any external enemies who want to attack Konoha, but Konoha's interior since Tsunade returned to the village. Konoha's interior is divided into two factions. One side is the Jonin who chose to join because Danzo is about to take over. The number of Jonin in this part is not small. Basically 9/10 of Konoha Jonin. The small group that remains is Konoha Elite Jonin, headed by Kakashi et al. After all, powerful Jonin like Kakashi don't worry about this kind of problem. They have their own confidence, so they don't have to stand in line immediately. After Tsunade returned to the village, Kakashi and the elite Jonin naturally sided with Tsunade immediately. But here lies the problem. If the candidate for Hokage has not been determined, then Tsunade will return to the village with the support of Kakashi and others. Then becoming a Hokage is a sure thing. There is no need to say anything at all. But the problem is that one disappears before Tsunade returns to the village, Homura and Mito, because of daimyo's interference. Leading to an early compromise. Danzo has been approved as Hokage, but there is no formal preparation for Hokage's succession ceremony. The Hokage rock has not yet carved Danzo's head. But Danzo's Hokage status has actually been established. At this time, Tsunade went back to the village to visit Jiraiya first, and treated Jiraiya himself. Jiraiya's situation has stabilized a lot, and it can be guaranteed to fully recover within half a year. The next step is to deal with the issue of Hokage candidates. Tsunade directly and strongly announced himself as the 5th Hokage. Don't give Danzo any face at all. There's really nothing wrong with acting like Tsunade's character. After all, Tsunade has the support of Kakashi and other Konoha elite ninjas, and even the Hyuga clan openly sided with Tsunade. This pissed off Danzo. Anbu, who was originally disintegrated by Danzo, was also used by Tsunade to use the powerful momentum, as well as the assistance of Kakashi and others. Takes back control of some of the Anbu ninjas. So to speak. Tsunade returned to the village, and quickly brought the small group of elites in Konoha under his command. But on the other hand, Danzo's side is also huge. Although there is no help from the small group of elite ninjas, the number of ordinary ninjas is completely crushed. So much so that neither side has fully won the strength of the other. In the days when Sasuke went to find Three Tails, the two sides had conducted many negotiations. Compete for 5th Hokage spot. Naturally, such a big event cannot escape the eyes of other villages. Even Kirigakure, which has not yet been officially developed, has intelligence ninjas lurking in Konoha. Of course, these lurking ninjas will not be harmful to Konoha. Just sniffing out information. Basically, the entire ninja world knows that Konoha may cause civil strife. Just as Sasuke landed on the island to search for Three Tails. Konoha's civil strife finally broke out. Danzo couldn't help but want to use poison to kill the elite ninja who supported Tsunade. Kurenai Yuhi and Might Guy were both hit. If it weren't for Tsunade's presence, heal the two of them quickly. The two of them would probably die immediately. Using such despicable means to compete directly made Tsunade angry. Directly issue an order to let Kakashi and others kill Danzo, okay Jiao. Konoha civil strife officially broke out that night. Danzo, who had been prepared for a long time, launched the Konoha hospital surrounded by ninjas from the route. Occupy the Hokage building, and want to drive Tsunade out of Konoha completely as Hokage. But Danzo underestimated Tsunade's reputation in Konoha too much. As the granddaughter of first Hokage, she is also one of Konoha's Sannin, and even the Tsunade princess of the entire ninja world. Tsunadeheim. Such an identity determines that it is impossible for Konoha to drive away Tsunade. Danzo shot himself in the foot, and his reputation plummeted. Although there are many ninjas supporting him, at the beginning of the battle, Kakashi, these elite ninjas, made him unable to parry. The gap between regular Jonin and elite Jonin is no joke. Chaos in the leaf. Total explosion. The loss suffered by Konoha this night was even more severe than when Konoha's plan collapsed. Chaos broke out in Konoha, and the information was sent to their own villages by the ninjas of each village immediately. From the establishment of Konoha to the present. Basically, Konoha village has always crushed other ninja villages, and has continued to be the overlord of the ninja world until now. Even when Konoha was weakest. Konoha also has terrifying ninjas like Sannin. Although they are not in Konoha, they will return to Konoha anytime. Konoha's strength has always made other ninja villages, even the ninja villages of the 5 major countries, fearful. But now, for the first time in Konoha's history, civil unrest broke out. This will cause Konoha's strength to be greatly reduced. It is also a good time for other villages to do it. Cloud Shinobi Village, 4th Raikage, who was woken up in the middle of the night, there is no displeasure. Instead, the laughter was almost heard by the whole village. Although Mabui is also very happy, she still wants to remind Ying. Master Raikage, you have to pay attention to your image. Image. What is the image at this time? Haha. This old man is so happy, I have never been so happy before. Konoha finally killed himself, so don't blame the old man for taking advantage of the fire to rob. Mabui was a little worried when he heard this. Although Konoha's current situation is very bad, the so-called skinny camel is bigger than a horse. Konoha's comprehensive strength is still the best in the ninja world. Among other things, if Konoha's Tsunade and Danzo join forces at this stage, it will be a terrifying force for any ninja village. Not to mention the 5 major countries, it is very easy for Konoha to destroy the ninja villages of other small countries. Even the ninja village of the 5 great nations, it is not difficult for Konoha to severely damage it. In addition, there is information that Konoha's 9 tails Jinchuriki has been able to control the tail beast. This is even more terrifying. Even the deterrent power of 9 tails is enough to make other ninja villages in the 5 major countries not dare to move. Master Raikage, this is not a good time to attack Konoha. Although Konoha is in civil turmoil, we don't know how far the internal turmoil has gone. We might as well wait. Wait. Raikage smiled. Mabui, I think you misunderstood what the old man meant. I won't be so stupid as to directly fight against Konoha, so that the final benefit will definitely not be Cloud Shinobi Village. Hearing this, Mabui frowned. What does Lord 4th Generation mean? When 2 tigers fight, there is bound to be an injury. We can't act rashly, but when Konoha, the tiger, can't take care of himself, I believe many wolves want to take the opportunity to take a bite. Although I don't expect Konoha to be destroyed in this way, it can weaken Konoha. If the situation after Konoha is not good, at that time, we can go to hide and defeat Pooh in one fell swoop. Having said that, Mabui already understood. Master Raikage wants other small countries to deal with Konoha. That's right. With the deterrence of Cloud Shinobi Village, the country of thunder, and a little pressure, and now there is indeed an opportunity to take advantage of it. Few small countries around Konoha can resist this temptation. Taking advantage of Konoha's civil strife, he completely dragged Konoha into the quagmire of war, so that Konoha could not stand up. When the consumption is almost the same, it is the best time for the other 5 major countries to swarm up and swallow Konoha together. I'll let someone do it. If this is the plan, it will have no impact on Cloud Shinobi Village. To ensure everything is safe, Mabui naturally supports his own shadow. 4th Raikage looked out the window. I don't know if other people will choose to act in the same way as the old man. Land of the Earth, Iwagakure. 2 Scales Onogi, as a person who has experienced many ninja wars. With his sense of smell, he directly understood what happened next time. But for things like doing something about Konoha, Yinyiju had a premonition that there would be no good results. So Onogi doesn't plan to do it, but Cloud Shinobi should be impatient. The film in the prime of life is very ambitious. Then the old man will push the boat with the water. Konoha is really an eyesore. The land of water, Kirigakure. The village has just pacified the village that is still in the development stage. Let Terumi Mei's choice be a lot more conservative. Just wait and see. We don't need to do anything now. Let's talk about Konoha's ability to survive the first wave. If we can't make it through, we Kirigakure have to get a share of the action. Land of the Winds, Sanagakure. Compared with the other 3 villages, Sanagakure is more worried. The Konoha civil turmoil, our Sand Shinobi's Kazekage died again, and the candidate for 5th Kazekage has not yet been determined. The situation in the village is already very bad, and now the ally Shai is in such a situation again. We might as well take the opportunity. Idiot, we are too busy to take care of ourselves at this time, and we still want to do something to Konoha. Seriously injured Baki raised his head and looked at the other Sand Shinobi Jonin. Starting today, Sunagakure is announced to be blocked, and the missions are only accepted within the Land of Winds. All Sand Shinobi are not allowed to leave the Land of Winds. The other Jonin glanced at Baki. Is this going to block Sunagakure? Like Kirigakure before. But now it seems that's all there is to it. When the blockade is lifted, I am afraid that it is only when the candidate for 5th Kazekage is determined, or when Konoha ends the civil strife and can help Sunagakure again. A storm sweeping the entire ninja world is brewing. This time is different than the last time, when Sasuke and others became famous in the ninja world. But this time, although it is Konoha's civil strife, it is related to the peace of the entire ninja world. And such a big event happened. Sasuke still doesn't know yet. Because the current Sasuke is searching for 3 tails Isobu on an island in the country of water. Honglian's complexion was a little unsightly. Sorry, Mr. Sasuke, we can only confirm that the main star is in this area. But I don't know where it is. Before you came, I did hear the terrifying roar of water. It's definitely 3 tails, but the specific location is. Sasuke looked at the sea in front of him speechlessly. This is different from the original. Isn't the original a lake? How did it become a sea when I came here? How to find this? This is the sea. Not a lake. But it's right to think about it. After all, the current time point is much earlier than the original work. It is also normal for 3 tails to be in the sea but not in the lake. But it is not so easy to find 3 tails in the sea. Sasuke frowned. If only I had the ability to perceive type. Unfortunately, I haven't learned Sage Mode. Depressed in his heart, suddenly Sasuke remembered something. No. I can develop a ninjutsu. I have memorized a lot of perceptual tricks, but if I can develop one, wouldn't it be easy to find 3 tails? Sasuke has a smile on his face. You can give it a try. In such a sea, I want to find a tailed beast. Although the 3 tails are huge in size, they are inconspicuous compared to the huge ocean. So perceptual ability is very necessary. It's a pity that Sasuke has not learned Sage Mode at this stage, and his perception is not particularly strong. How did we find 3 tails in such a big ocean? Kimimaro's face became much more serious. Obviously he also knew how difficult it is to find 3 tails here. Honglian also knew that the difficulty of this matter was not ordinary. But in comparison, 3 tails is already very easy to catch. After all, there is no Jinchuriki tail beast, and its strength is actually not too strong. Although 3 tails has amazing destructive power, it has a large size and a large target, for a ninja. This kind of creature with a huge target is much easier to deal with. The only way now is probably to wait. The last time 3 tails appeared was 5 days ago. If we wait a few more days, 3 tails will definitely appear again. You mean to sit on the sidelines? Bai was speechless. According to what she knew about Sasuke, Sasuke would not do such a stupid thing. Sure enough, Sasuke also looked unhappy. Wait? I don't want to just wait quietly. Don't want to wait? There is no other way if you don't want to wait. Fishing for 3 tails in the ocean? The difficulty is not small. What is Sasuke-sama going to do? Kimimaro asked. What he felt Sasuke should have thought. If you have sentient ninjutsu, then finding 3 tails is not difficult. There is nothing wrong with saying that. It seems that none of them have this ability. Honglian also said positively, could some of them have the ability to perceive types? In the next second, Sasuke said directly, it happens that I have always wanted to develop a similar ability, so let's try this time. Develop a perception type ability to find 3 tails. Honglian was dumbfounded after speaking. What did the brat just say? To develop the ability to perceive a type. Does this thing mean that it is developed? You must know that the development of ninjutsu is not that simple. Even the simplest ninjutsu has been fought countless times by ninjas. At the same time, it was summarized by a genius ninja, and it was finally developed. Sasuke thinks of this and immediately prepares to develop it, even if Sasuke develops this ninjutsu. I'm afraid the daylilies are getting cold. It's better to sit on the sidelines and wait for the rabbit. Guran didn't speak. But Sasuke said directly, let's rest tonight. Let me think about which direction I should develop. Kimimaro and Shiro nodded, and set up camp directly by the sea. As night comes, Sasuke replaces sleep with chakra refinement. Sasuke's strong chakra fluctuations can be felt all night long. Although Guran scoffed at what Sasuke said earlier, she watched Sasuke practice so hard even when he was resting. I still admire it. No wonder Sasuke looks so powerful at such a young age. Sure enough, it is inseparable from the usual hard work, not only Sasuke but also Kimimaro and Bai. They also began to enter the state of cultivation. Guran was very surprised by the situation of the three of them. What's the use of refining chakra? Doesn't ninja's chakra grow slowly over time? How much chakra can be increased by relying on chakra refining? A trace? What are you using it for? Guran felt it was ridiculous and fell asleep. At the same time, Sasuke was thinking about what should be developed to develop the ability to perceive types. Two thoughts. The first one, Sasuke refers to the circle of the hunter world, releases his own chakra, and uses chakra as a thought. Form a circle around your body to detect anything inside. There is nothing wrong with this idea, but the key problem is that Sasuke's current amount of chakra obviously does not support Sasuke's round release to too far a distance. Barely playing more than 10 meters is already very good. The first idea is temporarily eliminated. Want to have a large area, and at the same time the amount of chakra can support it now. Sasuke thought of the second way. That is to use lightning. The ability of telepathy. Thinking of this, Sasuke thinks it seems to be quite good. First of all, lightning style Sasuke is very good at it, and there is great hope for trying to develop it. As for telepathy, Sasuke refers to Enel's heart network in One Piece world. Enel's heart network is not only observation haki, but also the ability attached to Thunder Fruit, telepathy. So Enel's mind network ability is extraordinarily powerful. Of course, if his own mind is disturbed, it will not have such a powerful effect. As for Sasuke's desire to develop this ability, it is obviously impossible to completely follow Enel's standards. Sasuke's requirements are very low, and he only needs to sense the weak current emitted by the creatures in this area. Therefore, it is enough to judge how many creatures exist through these. If it's just such a requirement, then logically speaking, it is not too difficult to realize this technique in the Hokage world. There are also problems. First of all, Sasuke needs a lot of lightning, not to say that Sasuke needs a strong lightning style. Instead, Sasuke's sensitivity to lightning has increased many times. Thinking of this, Sasuke really came up with a way. Take advantage of the endless thunder pool. MMIN. Originally, this technique was developed because Sasuke tried to develop a big move like Leying. But now it seems that this technique can be used to develop a perception type of ninjutsu. The preparation time for opening Endless Thunder Pond itself takes a few minutes. Therefore, this technique is obviously not suitable for use in actual combat. But for the perception type of ninjutsu, then this technique is suitable. After all, when the enemy is perceived, the battle has not yet started. When you start fighting, you don't need to sense it at all. How can you fight if the enemy is not in front of you? Next morning, when Sasuke opened his eyes, Guran had already woken up, and was waiting at the beach early, implementing her method of waiting for rabbits. However, Guran still smiled when she heard Sasuke get up. Did Sasuke-sama sleep well last night? Hearing this, Sasuke shook his head. Didn't sleep. Sleeping is such a waste of time. Forehead. Well, this kid didn't stop chakra fluctuations all night last night. It is true that he has not slept and is practicing crazily. Master Sasuke, you'd better take a break. I'll watch here, and if I get tired, I'll let you guys take over for me. Look. I've already figured out what kind of technique I should develop, and I'm ready to start right now. Said Sasuke walked to the open space beside. Looking at Sasuke's back, Guran was a little confused. What did this kid just say? Think it over. One night he thought about how to develop a technique. Are you kidding me? The development of ninjutsu is also something that can be done in a night's sleep? At the same time, Shiro and Kimimaro also woke up. But compared to Sasuke, the mental state of the two is not very good. They don't have the pervert physique of Sasuke, who can tirelessly carry out chakra refining all night. The consumption of mental power is very serious. But hold on, because they also heard Sasuke's voice. Get ready to see what kind of technique Master Sasuke is going to develop. Watch Sasuke come to the clearing. After standing up, Sasuke silently accumulates chakra in his body. Put your hands in mudra on your chest, close your eyes and practice chakra with all your strength. Lightning style, endless lightning pool. This technique will definitely become the pre-ninjutsu for Sasuke to release various lightning styles in the future. Once this ninjutsu is activated, the bonus effect on lightning style is very crazy. Even if this technique is to be activated, Sasuke's current state of still needs to activate the spell seal type. The shape of the curse seal slowly emerged. Watch the black lines appear on Sasuke's face. This is the curse seal of the sky. Guran looked at Sasuke with some envy. As Orochimaru's subordinate, how could she not know what the curse seal is? The heaven's curse seal is what she wants most. She doesn't want the power of the curse seal, but Orochimaru's approval. But apparently she has not achieved this wish. Curse mode is on. Sasuke has fully opened the spell seal 1 form, and now Sasuke can only open the spell seal 1 form without injury. If you want to open the second curse seal, it will still cause some damage to your body. When the curse seal chakra began to surge, Sasuke could even faintly see the light formed by the eruption of chakra around Sasuke's body. Due to the particularity of the curse seal, the burst of light has a black halo. Master Sasuke. Bai felt very strange about Sasuke's curse seal chakra. A feeling of unease emerged. It can be next second. Thunderbolts erupted around Sasuke's body. Out of thin air, they slashed towards Sasuke from all directions. When both Bai and Kimimaro were surprised by this, the roar of thunder exploded in the next second. The thunder that fell from the sky frantically gathered around Sasuke one after another. In the blink of an eye, a dazzling blue light emerged. Thick thunder snakes circled around Sasuke crazily, flashing and jumping. Form a pool of thunder. With Sasuke as the center, it stretches for a distance of 5 or 6 meters. Sasuke opened his eyes and even burst out lightning, and the diffused lightning formed a dense grid in the air. Lightning style, endless lightning pool. Open. At this moment Sasuke looked at the thunder and lightning around him. The range has increased by more than half from last time. Is it because my chakra has increased? Good. According to this situation, one day when Sasuke starts this ninjutsu, he will instantly gather a thunder pool hundreds of meters away. At that time, it was really possible to use these thunderbolts to develop Leying again. A smile appeared on Sasuke's face at the thought. But now is not the time to think about it. What needs to be developed now is another technique. And it's just that Sasuke opened the endless thunder pond, which is enough to make Shiro, Kimimaro, and Guran feel unbelievable. The violent thunder and lightning gathered around Sasuke. Even a ninja who specializes in lightning style would not dare to rush forward. They can clearly feel the sense of terror and oppression brought about by this path. This is not a technique that ordinary ninjas can bear. And Sasuke, who released this technique, seemed to be bathed in lightning at the moment. A pair of red Sharingan stands out against the lightning. At this moment Sasuke is ready to open the Mangekyo Sharingan. Because Sasuke also has a pupil technique, Super Insight. With the assistance of Super Insight, what Sasuke should do next should be easier. Mangekyo Sharingan. Open. When the weird patterns appeared, Hong Lien was completely shocked. As this? The Uchiha clan, the legendary Mangekyo? Such charming eyes, such weird lines, as if there is some kind of power to suck people in. As Guran was speaking, suddenly the thunder and lightning around Sasuke became more irritable. Sasuke is controlling these lightnings to spread. The opening of the Super Insight made Sasuke see the lightning gathered from all directions. But now all Sasuke has to do is fuse his own chakra into these thunderbolts. Then hit it out in one breath. Lightning diffuses into the air, quickly turning into a low-voltage current and spreading rapidly. And once it touches a creature, the electric current will be absorbed. To be precise, it will enter the body of the creature, and Sasuke can take the opportunity to feel all creatures within the range. But the information that floods into the brain at that moment is estimated to be particularly large. So Sasuke has to be prepared. The first time I tried Sasuke, I just thought of this concept, and whether it can be successful depends on the specific situation. For the first time, the scope should be controlled a little smaller. Let's do 100 meters first. Thinking of this, Sasuke probably estimated the current needed for a range of 100 meters. Raise your hand to make a mudra, and use the mudra to assist in control. The order of these seals has naturally evolved into the seals needed to release this technique. Watching Sasuke start to make seals, this sequence of seals seems to be created temporarily by Sasuke. Seeing such an operation, Guran's mouth began to slowly open. Watching a ninjutsu grow from scratch on the spot, such a thing is not something that can be encountered every day. After making seals in a row, Honglian's scalp feels a little numb. This is creating ninjutsu. Doesn't this guy need to experiment? Did it go straight to the point? That's talent. As a super genius Sasuke, they can't understand how terrifying the instinct of a genius is. Printing is complete. In the next second, Sasuke opened his hands, and the lightning gathered in his hands seemed to turn into lightning waves and spread instantly. While rushing straight into the sky, a strange current fluctuation visible to the naked eye in the air spread rapidly like a wave, spreading to a range of nearly 200 meters in the blink of an eye. And at this moment Sasuke's eyes trembled slightly. The information that flooded into the brain in an instant made Sasuke a little uncomfortable for a while. But Sasuke didn't feel any pressure, and his mental strength withstood it perfectly. Is this a success? Congratulations to host for successfully developing a new ninjutsu. Please name if the system admits it. It is obvious that the technique was successful. Name. It's called Lightning Style, the Web of Hearts. Naming successful Lightning Style, Net of Heart, Introduction. Developed successfully? Sasuke had a smile on his face. And he also accurately perceived how many creatures were around. Even. Sasuke looked at Kimimaro and others, and through the induction of the heart network, he could roughly understand the mental state of Kimimaro and the others. And how much chakra they have in their body. It seems that the closer the distance, the clearer the perception can be through the detection of the heart network. The farther the distance, the less information received. But this is still within Sasuke's acceptance range. No matter how bad it is, you can still feel the approximate body shape and outline of the opponent. In such cases it is enough. For Sasuke, it is enough to find 3 tails. Master Sasuke. Looking at Sasuke's expression, Kimimaro seems to have succeeded. Then he asked, is the jutsu you just performed a perception-type ninjutsu? Hearing this, Sasuke nodded with a smile. That's right, the development process went very smoothly and was a success. Hearing this answer, Guran patted her head lightly. That's successes. Are you kidding me? This is too pervert. Talking about the development of ninjutsu, it was really developed, and it was really developed successfully in such a short period of time. Who? Genius. Evildoer. No. It should be said that he is a genius and evildoer. Can this kind of thing be done by humans? Okay. Next, I will release it with all my strength and expand the scope of detection as much as possible. See if you can find the 3 tails, said Sasuke. Closed his eyes, the surrounding thunder began to condense again. Flashing rapidly, the sound of thunder and lightning sounded one after another, and suddenly the thunder pool seemed to be even more turbulent than before. The dense thunder and lightning almost completely covered all the space around Sasuke. At this moment, Sasuke seemed to be transformed into a ball of extremely dazzling blue light. Thunder gather, suddenly, rapidly exploded. The spreading lightning is like a spider web centering on Sasuke, quickly sweeping out. However, these thunderbolts do not have substantial destructive power. They are used for probing, and the attack power is almost 0. Of course, places that are too close to Sasuke will still be instantly destroyed by the thunder. The ground within 3 meters around was directly smashed to pieces by the powerful lightning. Kimimaro and others have already seen the scene of the heartnet explosion before, but the movement before is compared with the present. It's a world of difference. This time, Sasuke's detection range is not limited to the surrounding area of 100 meters. Rather, it is the entire island, even radiating to the surrounding sea area of several kilometers from the island as the center. If the 3 tails can't be found in this range, it is basically certain that the 3 tails have left this sea area. This time Sasuke broke out with all his strength, and the range covered by the heartnet made Sasuke himself startled. He didn't expect that under the extreme urging of his heartnet, it would be able to cover such a huge area. I am afraid that Sasuke can easily cover any ninja village in the 5 major countries. In other words, if Sasuke wants to attack a certain ninja village, then Sasuke can easily grasp the staffing of the corresponding ninja village, the location of all ninjas and other information before starting the war. This kind of perception ability is probably not much different from Nagato's Yuhu Zizai technique. When the lightning spread to 30 meters away, it became very weak, completely inconspicuous. The farther the distance, the basically no electric light can be seen. If it is in the high sky, then you can also see an invisible wave spreading rapidly towards the distance. Instantly enveloped the entire island and the location thousands of meters near the island. But if it is on the ground, it is impossible to see Sasuke's heart web probe. Soon. 3 seconds. Sasuke suddenly opened his eyes, and all the lightning around him disappeared. Found it. Sasuke turned his head and looked northeast. On the bottom of the sea 1,000 meters away from the island, Three Tails was sleeping curled up in a huge crack in the bottom of the sea. It can only be said that it is indeed a tail beast. Even Sasuke felt a little power of Three Tails. They can clearly feel the terrifying pressure of Three Tails' chakra. An involuntary chill stood up. The power of tailed beasts is indeed terrifying, and it is not true that the strength of tailed beasts must be divided according to the number of tails. Every tailed beast, every Jinchuriki's power star deserves respect. Is it in that position? Okay. Sasuke nodded towards Kimimaro. There was an imperceptible smile on Kimimaro's face. The tailed beast was found. In this way, there is hope for his blood-inherited disease. But this time Sasuke frowned. Three Tails, at a depth of nearly 3,000 meters. At this depth, even a ninja cannot dive to the position. Great water pressure is no joke. Hearing Sasuke's words, Guran also came back to his senses in surprise. If you find the tailed beast, find the tailed beast. But things still seem tricky now. Then we have to find a way to force the tailed beast out. They can't go down under the water, and fighting in the water is also an act of asking for trouble. It is simply impossible to be the opponent of the tailed beast. Three Tails is a turtle, although it is an extremely ugly and weird tortoise. This guy's fighting power in the water is stronger than theirs. My crystal style, there is no way to reach that distance. Originally, Honglian was still very proud of her blood succession limit. But compared to Kimimaro, it's not on the same level at all. And compared to Sasuke, let alone the Uchiha clan, his eyes are what countless ninjas in the entire ninja world want. As for Bai, Bingdun's reputation was equally resounding in the past. In front of this group of people, Guran felt as if she suddenly couldn't find any sense of superiority. Master Sasuke, if it's the sea, maybe. I can think of something. Suddenly Bai took the initiative to speak. Sasuke glanced at Shiro. Yes. In the sea, Bai's ice escape is indeed the most suitable power to display. Before, he thought about using lightning style to find a way to force Three Tails out, but think carefully about the 3,000-meter deep seabed. How powerful the lightning was to force the Three Tails out. At least the current Sasuke may not be able to reach this level, but if it is replaced by Bai, it will be different if it is replaced by Ice Dun. Thinking of this, Sasuke nodded. It is indeed time for you to appear, White. When Sasuke said that suddenly, Shiro blushed a little bit shyly. Master Sasuke, I just want to try it out, and I may not be able to force Three Tails out. No. You can, even if you can't alone, with our chakra, it's definitely enough. Hearing this, Bai was a little confused. Clam? Master Sasuke. What do you mean? I don't quite understand. Not only Shiro was puzzled, but Kimimaro and Guran didn't quite understand what Sasuke meant. What is called chakra with them? Sasuke smiled. You'll find out soon. Saying that, Sasuke glanced at Guran. The question now is how to deal with Three Tails after being forced out. In my perception, the power of the Three Tails is very strong. If the tailed beast releases the tailed beast bomb accidentally, even a cage-level ninja would not dare to resist it head-on. That is a terrifying move that can easily destroy a village with one blow. And tailed beast bomb is also the true meaning of tailed beast's existence. The threat of tailed beast bomb is equivalent to the threat of nuclear weapons. Does Master Sasuke have any plans? Seeing what Sasuke said, Kimimaro guessed that Sasuke probably already had a plan. There is a plan. When the time comes, Red Lotus, you use crystal style to restrict Three Tails' actions, and leave the rest to me and Kimimaro. Kimimaro is responsible for attracting Three Tails' attention. I will find a chance to give Three Tails a fatal blow. Strive to solve Three Tails in the shortest possible time. This plan. Let Honglian feel a little speechless. Is this also a plan? In fact, there is no need for a detailed combat plan at all. Only a general division of labor and cooperation is required. Determine what each needs to do. After all, The battle is changing rapidly and it is impossible to do everything in detail. No matter how detailed the plan is, when the battle really starts, there will always be variables. Just adapt. What about me? Bai was a little puzzled. Didn't Master Sasuke just say that he would let himself play? Why didn't he say what he should do in the plan? Sasuke smiled. If you still have the strength then, assist Guran to find a way to block Three Tails' actions. Still have strength? Why'd I have no energy? Sasuke smiled and didn't say much. Soon the four of them came to the sea where Three Tails was. The four of them walked on the water, standing on the sea surface, swaying constantly with the ups and downs of the waves. Bai is a little nervous now. Because just now after Sasuke told her what to do next, Shiro couldn't calm down. Is it really possible? Is it really possible to use the power of ice escape according to Sasuke-sama's method? As a ninja of the ice escape blood successor boundary, Bai himself is very uncertain that he can really achieve the effect as Master Sasuke said. But Sasuke seemed pretty sure she could do it. You must not let Sasuke-sama down. At this time, Guran raised her hand and stood behind Shiro, with her hands on Shiro's back. Chakra waves start to surge. Guran's forehead also began to break out in cold sweat. Because behind her, both Sasuke and Kimimaro turned on the spell seal mode at the same time. And in order to force Three Tails out, Sasuke had no choice but to directly activate the second type of spell seal. Although doing so will cause damage to his body, but now Sasuke has wood style. This level of damage is nothing, and it can be recovered easily. The curse seal of the sky and the curse seal of the earth are activated at the same time. Both Sasuke and Kimimaro put their hands on Guran's back. In the next second, the curse seal chakra began to erupt. In order for Bai to unleash the power of ice escape to the greatest extent, it is necessary to support chakra of all four of them. Otherwise, it may not be possible to force Three Tails out of the bottom of the sea. The violent chakra wave swept away. In an instant, there were dense ripples on the sea surface. However, due to the distance problem, the Three Tails on the bottom of the sea is still sleeping. Didn't even know he was being targeted. Danger is approaching quietly. Are you ready? Bai Yanbai nodded. Slowly squatting down, one hand was placed on the Minister of Seawater. There is no need to use any ninjutsu, just simply release Bingdu's freezing ability. Amplify it to lower the temperature. But can the effect of ice escape really reach the level that Master Sasuke said? Bai was still uneasy, but she didn't want to disappoint Sasuke. Close your eyes and start mobilizing the chakra in your body with all your strength. Thinking of this, Shiro began to follow Sasuke's words, and concentrate on feeling the cold of the ice escape. Use the power of chakra to maximize this coldness. A moment of coldness. At the same time, Guran also delivered the chakra from Sasuke and Kimimaro to Shiro in an orderly manner. But suddenly a huge suction force made Honglian feel as if she was about to die. For an instant, a terrifying amount of chakra flowed through her body. All gathered towards Bai's body. Both Sasuke and Kimimaro turned on the second type of spell seal at the same time. This amount of chakra is not a joke. When the majestic chakra is accepted by Bai, immediately after the next second, an astonishing cold burst out instantly. Moment. Just for a brief moment, in Honglian's horrified eyes. The surface of the sea was frozen, and it spread crazily towards the surroundings at a speed visible to the naked eye. The ice surface spread out in an instant, and within a blink of an eye, all the sea surface was instantly frozen within the range visible to the naked eye. Biting cold air floated on the ice. At this time, Guran slowly let go of her hands. Looking at the vast expanse of whiteness all around. Is this the power of ice done? Not only Guran, Kimimaro was also shocked. Bai's blood inheritance boundary actually has such power. At the same time, Bai himself was stunned. It really has such a terrifying power. Master Sasuke knows how to use the ice escape better than himself. Is this the correct usage of ice escape? In the past, Bai focused on attacking the condensed ice. Okay. However, I never thought of such a thing as temperature. It turns out that the most terrifying part of the ice escape is not the condensation of ice, but low temperature, terrible low temperature. This trick, do you want to name it again and again? Suddenly Sasuke asked. I was taken aback for a moment. Name? Is now the time to say something like this? Boom boom boom. The ice surface began to vibrate. Sasuke smiled. It seems to work well. Three tails can't stay anymore. Said Sasuke turned to look at Shiro, who didn't speak. How can such a powerful move be done without a name? Boom. Gong. The ice surface was broken instantly. In the next second, a huge black figure emerged from under the ice. Sasuke still looked at Shiro. Why don't we call it the Ice Age? Ice Escape, Ice Age. Bai whispered the name softly. It was indeed a very imposing name. Ice Escape, Ice Age. Kimimaro looked around, and wherever his eyes passed, the sea was completely frozen. It really fits the name very well. Boom. The three tails that came out of the ice were panting heavily, lying on the ice and quickly searching for the target. Sasuke et al. Standing on the ice were soon spotted. Humanity? Sure enough, these ices are the ghosts of these humans. Damn. You want to catch me again? Gifu is very angry now, not only because these people made it sleep. It also froze this piece of sea, making it almost suffocate. All evil human beings deserve to die. Da. Gifu roared frantically, and the chakra wave of three tails erupted. In an instant, dense cracks appeared on the ice surface, spreading rapidly from the feet of three tails. Sasuke looked at the berserk three tails. The momentum is very strong, as expected of a tailed beast. Said he looked at Kimimaro. How is it? Are you satisfied? It was said that Kimimaro raised his hand and a bone spur grew out of his elbow. At the same time, dense bone spurs also appeared on the back. These bone spurs are blessed with the second chakra spell, and their power is even more astonishing. It can be said to be the hardest object in the ninja world. As long as the blood-inherited disease can be cured, it doesn't matter how many tails there are. This answer was within Sasuke's expectation. With Kimimaro's personality, he probably doesn't care about the strength of the tailed beast. He may never have thought of borrowing the power of the tailed beast to become stronger. As the last blood of the Wei Yoruichi clan, Kimimaro also has the militant and proud character of the Wei Yoruichi clan. Then let's do it. With Sasuke's order, Guran is ready. And at this time, Bai was indeed exhausted. Instantly released this level of ice escape, and also controlled the amount of chakra far beyond his own limit. Now she seems to understand why Sasuke didn't arrange any tasks for her when she made the plan before. But right now, Bai still wants to help as much as possible. Crystal Style, Crystal Wall 8 Formation. Guran, who had been prepared for a long time, directly released a very advanced crystal style ninjutsu. The crystal pillars bursting from the ground in an instant appeared out of thin air from around the three tails. Three tails is surrounded by crystals. In the blink of an eye, a small crystal mountain unexpectedly formed. Isofu couldn't move for a while. Good job, Guran. Kimimaro was very surprised. He didn't expect that Guran actually temporarily trapped the house. Kimimaro, who was still in the state of Seal 2, started directly. Immediately rushed out. It is very dangerous for Kimimaro to make such an outburst at the current stage. His hematological disease has not been cured yet. It's just temporarily stabilizing the disease. If he uses his blood-inherited limit like this crazily, the blood-inherited disease will become more serious. Seeing this, Sasuke didn't stop him, just shook his head lightly. Kimimaro, who charged straight up, was extremely fast, and Guran was really surprised at this moment. What a speed! Even if it's just pure speed, it's already beyond her reach. Immediately after, Kimimaro jumped up and shook his fist. Kimimaro, who controlled the bone cells covered under the skin, slammed his fist hard at Isofu's head. Boom. Punch. There was a fierce explosive sound, and under Kimimaro's punch, three tails screamed in pain. Sasuke was a little surprised. Has Kimimaro also become stronger? But also because of Kimimaro's punch, the effect of crystal style controlling three tails is obviously not very good. Three tails' tail rolled wildly, and soon the crystals began to crack. Guran maintained the seal. Gritting his teeth, he said, I can't hold this guy anymore. Kimimaro frowned. What a hard shell. Fortunately, he chose to attack with his fists. Even with bone spurs, he might not be able to penetrate this guy's shell at all. In this case, try your best to knock three tails out as much as possible. Next second, Kimimaro heard the roar of thunder. His movements slowed down a little. A thunderbolt suddenly swept from behind him. Passing quickly from Kimimaro's side, it bombarded Samsung's body straight. Lightning spread throughout Three Tails' body. But Three Tails didn't seem to feel it. Seeing this, Sasuke felt a little tricky. Lightning-style discharge at full strength, still in the state of opening the spell seal. The power of the lightning style that erupted was not enough to make Three Tails feel half paralyzed. Coupled with Kimimaro's hammer before, Three Tails still couldn't break the defense. It can be seen that the defensive power of this beast is quite amazing. General ninjutsu attacks probably have no effect on Three Tails. I didn't expect the tail beast to be so difficult to deal with. Lightning style, fire style, or even water style may not have much effect. If the hard vortex water blade is combined with Chidori fusion, maybe you can give it a try. Sui Jale's compound ninjutsu paralysis effect is not generally strong. But Chidori's lightning mainly penetrates, and the hard vortex water blade also mainly penetrates. In such a situation, the combination of the two ninjutsu, if it hits the key part of Three Tails, it may be possible to kill Three Tails directly. Even if you don't die, you will be injured. Sasuke wanted Three Tails unconscious, not Three Tails injured. Kimimaro, delay it a little bit. Give me 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Kimimaro nodded. Don't worry, Sasuke-sama, I won't let it hinder you within 3 minutes. Although he readily agreed, Sasuke was still worried about Kimimaro's 3 minutes. At this time, Bai's voice sounded. Ice escape, the air conditioning freezes. After a sudden white seal, white cold air spewed out from the palms of his raised hands, sweeping in the direction of Three Tails. The cold air impacted on the crystals and began to quickly condense into ice. Ice crystals strengthened the control effect of crystals. Made Three Tails' body a bit out of control. Guran looked at Shiro beside her. With Bai helping to share the pressure, she can control Three Tails all the time. As long as Three Tails doesn't burst out with too much chakra. And that's up to Kimimaro. Kimimaro, who had already made a shot, was punching Three Tails in the head, punch after punch. The volley kicks are also one after another. There is no pause at all. Three Tails feels aggrieved right now. To be beaten by a few humans on the ground. Although these people's attacks did not do much harm to Three Tails at all. Just like the human being who is covered in spikes and looks like a hedgehog in front of him now. Although the attack seems powerful, but in fact, Gifu didn't feel any feeling at all. Of course, the huge impact also made his head start to feel a little dizzy. But if it wasn't for the cold, it would make its body a little weak, and at the same time, the strange crystal would further restrict its body's movement. Gifu had long wanted to shoot the person in front of him away. But Gifu is accumulating chakra, and chakra burst out in one breath, shattering all these crystals, and at the same time, it can also get rid of the control of cold air. In this way, these people have to be killed by it. The shell of this thing is so hard. Hong Lian watched the burst of airflow fluctuations one after another, but Three Tails seemed to be fine. I also have to sigh that the defensive ability of Three Tails is indeed amazing. After all, Kimimaro's attack, every blow is seen in the eyes. It was so powerful that such an attack, even if it was a small hill, would have to be flattened by Kimimaro abruptly. Yet Three Tails was able to hold on, not affected by anything too much. Long-term control Three Tails is no easy task. Guran's face became paler and paler, and all the chakra had been concentrated for Bai's use. Now, he forcibly launched such an advanced crystal-style ninjutsu. Just to trap Three Tails. The cost of sustainably trapping Three Tails is equally enormous. Bai at the side was already in a cold sweat. Almost overdrawn. If you can't hold on, just stop. Honglian also admires Bai, who can persist under such circumstances. However, Bai did not stop and asked, "How long has it been?" "How long has it been?" Honglian was helpless, probably less than 30 seconds. 30 seconds? Bai's figure swayed a little, as if he was about to lose his footing. She was also trying her best to break out the cold air, making it impossible for Three Tails' body to move. However, the current time, for her and Honglian, is like a year. I didn't expect a second to be such a long time. The two of them persisted for a minute, and they had already reached the limit. Whether it is Bai or Honglian, the two of them are almost unable to hold on anymore. At this time, the frequency of Kimimaro attacks has also dropped a lot. His blood disease made his body feel pain again, and this feeling also made Kimimaro's movements slower. 2 more minutes. Damn. Just keep going. Kimimaro gritted his teeth, and Shiro and Guran were also procrastinating for what was possible. However, the next second, Bai Plop fell headlong on the ice. The mandatory overdraft chakra has knocked her out straight away. Strictly speaking, it was even a shock. At this time, Honglian's situation is not getting any better. Sasuke-sama. I can't, Guran said, and she let go of her hands in the next second. Lying on the ground, panting heavily. Without the continuous output of Red Lotus's chakra, the shattering speed of the crystals will be even faster. Bang bang bang. Accompanied by the sound of shattering crystals, without the suppression of the cold air, Three Tails' ability to move was restored. 3 huge tails are waving wildly. Shoot Kimimaro flying towards it. Beep. Kimimaro, who slid over a distance of 100 meters on the ground in an instant, didn't even react. It was already blown away. If it weren't for his blood succession limit, it would be dead bone pulse. It is estimated that the average person has already fallen apart. But Kimimaro is still able to stay awake and has no major physical problems. Standing up, Three Tails looked in his direction. He glared at Kimimaro, who had beaten him violently just now. Without cutting Kimimaro to pieces, I'm afraid Three Tails will find it difficult to swallow this breath. It's just a mere human, yet dare to hit it like a sandbag. Opening his mouth, Three Tails suddenly spewed out an astonishing jet of water. A strong water shockwave swept towards Kimimaro. What a strong water style. Three Tails seems to have a terrifying hold on water style's power. A gleam flashed in Kimimaro's eyes. The body accelerated to the limit, avoiding the impact of the water column. But after he dodged, the ice surface was instantly broken by the water column. A huge pothole was blasted directly. Kimimaro approached in the direction of Three Tails, after closing the distance. Kimimaro slammed his hands on the ice all of a sudden. Dead bone pulse, dance of the fern. Accompanied by Kimimaro's crazy roar, it seemed as if something was about to emerge from under the ice. Boom boom boom. There was a sound of breaking ice. Huge bone spikes emerged from the ground, forming a forest of bones in the blink of an eye. And Three Tails was firmly stuck by these bones. Although the spikes didn't penetrate its carapace, it sealed its movement again. Kimimaro's nosebleed could not be stopped, and his eyes were red and bloodshot. Keep an eye on Three Tails and control Three Tails with dead bone pulse. This is Kimimaro's last desperate fight to see if he can last until Sasuke completes a certain preparation. At this moment Sasuke is also very anxious. 3 minutes is so long. It seems that this technique, after all, we have to step up training anyway. I hope this situation will not happen again. Sasuke closed his eyes and began to concentrate on saving chakra. At this moment, Kimimaro was not only bleeding from his nostrils, but also began to shed blood and tears from the corners of his eyes. Blood gushes out from the mouth continuously, which is regarded as taking life to restrict Three Tails. 3 minutes at this moment is so long. Every minute and every second is an incomparable torment. Kimimaro's consciousness also disappeared bit by bit, and the pain in his body became more and more intense. It's just the last step. Am I going to die? Kimimaro sighed helplessly. In the end it seemed that death was unavoidable. Maybe this is the ending he should have. All right. Leave the rest to me, Kimimaro. Suddenly Sasuke's voice sounded, and at the same time there was a terrifying thunder falling from the sky. Around Sasuke's body quickly condensed into a huge thunder pool. Lightning style, endless lightning pool, finally successfully released. The reason why Sasuke releases this ninjutsu is to make Three Tails unconscious with one blow. While completely paralyzing it, it also tried not to hurt Three Tails as much as possible. And the lightning style endless thunder pool can strengthen the power of any lightning style ninjutsu. And the increase in power is not a little scary. Opening his hand, Yuichi's palm is facing the Three Tails in the distance. Give me a good night's sleep, beast. Lightning style tilde operator. No. With the blessing of endless lightning, this moment should be called lightning for a long time. Countless thunders gathered in Sasuke's palm. The thunder that gathered from the endless thunder pool, the power gathered now is incomparably astonishing. The original function of the technique of Endless Thunderpool is to enhance lightning style. It is a pre-ninjutsu created by Sasuke to develop Leying. It can provide lightning for a technique like Leying, let alone other lightning style ninjutsu. Even if it is a C-level ninjutsu discharge, with the blessing of the Endless Thunderpool, the power of lightning is not trivial. In an instant, the power far surpassing the S-rank ninjutsu can be erupted. The thick razor flashed across the air, when Kimimaro was about to lose his hold. Moment. Hit 3 tails. Crack. The terrifying sound of thunder exploded in the ears of Guran and Kimimaro. At the moment of September 43 inches, violent thunder surged across Erwei's body. Before 3 tails could make any defenses, his body was hit by the terrifying thunder. Then the huge body slowly fell down. The high curled tail also hangs down weakly. Thunder and lightning dissipated in the air. Sasuke also removed Thunder Pond and Curse Seal, which removed 2 special statuses. In an instant, even Sasuke felt extremely heavy in his body, as if the weight had been taken off suddenly. 3 tails are really hard to deal with. It is not difficult to kill or defeat 3 tails, but it is not difficult to catch 3 tails. Sasuke exhaled softly, and this time Kimimaro's direction. With a sudden thud, Sasuke looked towards Kimimaro. This guy is in a coma. Check it out, but Kimimaro is still breathing. Did not die. But with Kimimaro's current physical condition, it may be very difficult for him to withstand the power of the tailed beast. It seems that if you want to seal the tailed beast into Kimimaro's body, you still need to work hard on the sealing technique. It is necessary to suppress the chakra of 3 tails 100% without burdening Kimimaro's body. Otherwise, the life-saving tailed beast may also become a life-threatening poison. However, it is not possible to completely suppress the chakra of the tailed beast if it is not released to Kimimaro at all. Then it means that putting the tail beast in Kimimaro's body will have no effect. Therefore, it is necessary to add some special opening methods to the sealing technique. It is best to be able to accurately control the amount of chakra released by the tailed beast, and which one to turn on and off at any time. Only in this way can it become Kimimaro's life-saving medicine. Otherwise, the burden brought by the tailed beast chakra may benefit Kimimaro. I still need medical ninjutsu to help. I don't know if there is such a technique in the Book of Seals. Sasuke frowned at the unconscious 3 tails and the unconscious Kimimaro. It is not easy to take away the huge body of 3 tails. What a hassle. At the same time, there is still a lot of preparatory work to be done for this seal. Master Sasuke. Behind her, Honglian walked over with Bai in her arms, although she looked very tired. But the smile on his face couldn't be hidden. Because 3 tails has been successfully captured. It also means that Sasuke is going back, and when Sasuke went back, he said that he would bring his own. Sasuke looked into Guran's eyes and knew what she was thinking. Don't worry about what I promised you, I won't forget it. But I can't go back now. Hearing this, Honglian's face changed a little. Why? Because the 3 tails need to be sealed first. Saying that, Sasuke looked at Kimimaro, who was lying on the ground. You take the 2 of them, and I will find a way to transport 3 tails to the island. After all, Sasuke and the others don't have skills like Kamui, and they want to move huge creatures like 3 tails. It's not that simple. And with the size of 3 tails, can it be transported to Yunnan village for thousands of miles? Obviously impossible. Therefore, it is only possible to seal the 3 tails into Kimimaro's body as soon as possible on this island. Send a message to Master Orochimaru, and ask him to send me someone. That guy's name is Yakushi Kabuto, and I need his medical ninjutsu just in case. Hearing this, Guran nodded. Okay Sasuke-sama, I will arrange it. Congratulations to host, defeating Tail Beast 3 tails. Reward. Wood Style Promotion Practice Method. Finally got it. Sasuke's eyes lit up. Now a wood style has become stronger and settled. However, it is one thing for wood style to become stronger, but Sasuke has now discovered that the core problem is still not resolved. That is the problem of the amount of chakra. If the amount of chakra is enough, even the wood style at this stage is enough to come in handy. It's a pity that Sasuke's chakra is simply not enough to support wood style at this stage for combat. It may be comparable to Yamato's level, and even because wood style is too weak, it may not even be as good as Yamato. Forget about the practice method. Then you will become stronger in the future. Now you should think about how to turn Kimimaro into Jinchuriki. And then Sasuke has other things to do. Urgently called Yakushi Kabuto to come, and the time to arrive is conservatively estimated to be about 2 days. He was on his way alone, so he should come over as soon as possible. And during this time Sasuke needs to ensure that Three Tails will not escape. At the same time, learn the sealing technique, reduce the burden on Kimimaro as much as possible, and let the chakra of Three Tails become Kimimaro's life-saving medicine, instead of becoming his poison. There are many sealing techniques in the Book of Seals. For example, 5 elements seal, 4 elephant seal, 8 sign seal, etc. Sasuke needs to learn. Sasuke has probably seen these sealing techniques before. I feel that the difficulty of learning them is not too high. And the sealing technique gives Sasuke the same feeling, although it is a different sealing technique, although the sealing power is different. But each has its own strengths. Sasuke prepares all 3 seals for Kimimaro to use. Although this may make it more difficult for Kimimaro to mobilize Tailed Beast's chakra. But it also makes it almost impossible for Tailed Beast's chakra to burden Kimimaro. Take Kimimaro to the island and settle down, and Sasuke will also place the 3 tails. Start the practice of sealing technique. After sending out the flying eagle for special communication, Guran saw that Sasuke had just started learning the sealing technique, and he didn't know what to say. Is Kimimaro really serious about turning him into Three Tails Jinchuriki?